guys, so this is day 1/day 2 of my videos of kind of my wellness journey, if you will. This little docu-series I wanted to put together and talk about everything off the cuff that was coming to me. And it's really hot outside, so I'm going to see how long I can stand it. But I wanted to come to this place to share with you the first topic that came through on day 1. So let's rewind for a second before I show you the view of where I am at and why I'm standing here specifically to talk to you about butterfly magic, if you will. So, and what we can learn from the butterfly. So, I am going to see if you can get my lovely view and why I'm standing here with the butterflies. Okay, isn't that pretty? So, here's the thing. I am on an extended work break for 25 days remain. I used one of them yesterday. On an extended work break. It's not a holiday. It's not a vacation. Those are words that we like in the Western culture. But essentially, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I'm taking time to reset myself. It's mental health, it's physical wellness, it's emotional, spiritual, energetic wellness and well-being. And it's not vacation, it's not a holiday. I'm doing whatever I need to do every day to work on resetting myself. And it is because I am beyond burnout, right? So like I've hit physical, mental burnout months ago, and I've been adjusting my work schedule. We're doing just a few hours a day or half weeks already because of the physical and mental component. But as I was approaching taking this break and this time off, I realized this is more than just excessive work. This is what is called self-abuse, because self-abuse can come in a number of forms. For me, addiction and my mental health in terms of where I have what's the word we're looking for? I just keep coming back to abuse. There's really the most general way to look at this. For me, those expressions have been about my trauma. And I've created more trauma inadvertently by allowing myself to be the victim in my own story repeatedly. And I'm fine saying that today, even having spent 10 years just working on healing trauma from other people. But in the process, what I'm discovering is I was still allowing for trauma to happen through self-abuse. And that's not caring for myself, not taking care of myself, not loving myself. And that manifests for each of us in different ways. And that's really what the whole docuseries is about talking about that and being honest about that with ourselves and with each other, and talking about, ways that we can help each other understand this and not have any kind of stigmas, because we are in a time, thanks to 2020, this year out of time, we're in a time where, as a season, where we've been given a gift. Despite the chaos that we see, chaos always leads to breakthrough. And this particular chaos is giving us this time to retreat, to look at examining things of, how do I want to live? How do I want to be? How do I want to work? What actually works for me moving forward? What kind of life do I really want to have? Because you got off the hamster wheel. And I understand that looks different for each person. So I'm not saying that everybody has had a sense of privilege that I've had, where working for myself and running my own company allows me to step back and be independent. I can be remote. I understand that is a privilege, okay? I'm not saying this is not a broad stroke statement, but we can still individually pull what we can out of this. And really be able to say, okay, enough's enough. This is not life. This has been chaos. This has been a society that has groomed us only with the mindset of survival. And that if you don't attain certain measures of success that looks a certain way, for what we've called specifically in the Western world, particular societal norms for success, meaning your bank account looks a certain way, your car looks a certain way, your home looks a certain way, your education looks a certain way, your choice of partner looks a certain way. All of that ties itself to what is deemed success. And none of that is success. It's just another form of abuse, and it can be, in a way, right? Like it's telling you that you aren't enough unless you've achieved that, which is, by the way, abuse. Now that as I'm saying it out loud, it's an emotional abuse that you're putting on yourself, or that the society is putting on you. And none of that is loving. That's very fearful. It's coming from a place of limitation. It's coming from a place of telling us that we aren't enough when we are. We were all individually enough. Even in that state of not even knowing yet how to grow through it. Because we all need work. I mean, if you're not growing, then you're dead. And you may not physically be dead, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you can already be dead, because that type of stagnation of not going through transformation, not going through growth, is death. And some of us are actually in death cycles right now. Now, death cycle is a little bit different. And so I want to talk about that, because yesterday, what came to me through meditation was to talk about the magic of the butterfly. The magic of the butterfly, though, I just want to clarify, anybody that has kind of a trigger around the word magic, let's talk about that for 1 second. We're looking at this as the story of the butterfly. What does the butterfly represent? What can we learn from the butterfly? What is it teaching us? And that therein is the magic that we can learn from. And so the magic of the butterfly are symbolically known for transformation. At a natural state, they begin as this caterpillar, they go in state, and they come out as a butterfly, right? And so as I'm getting ready to think about doing this talk, butterflies started showing up sitting around me. So I actually followed them to where they are, which is right here behind me. And there's clover in the ground, and there's sweet flowers in the grasses. And so there's this white butterfly that came around, and then there's this beautiful orange one and a yellow one. And so I knew it was time to really talk about the magic of the butterfly. And so what we can learn from that is butterfly magic is about taking trauma and transforming it into beauty and life. And if we look at the fact that trauma can be multiple things, it's broken trust, it's broken hearts, it's somebody bullying you, it's any kind of emotional, spiritual. The fact is there's a spectrum that trauma exists on. It's something that is unhealthy for you, that has left you with some sort of a wound, and it's like full stop from there. You don't have to qualify or quantify trauma in any way. It just is. It is for you. And so with that, we have to look at what has created a wound within us. And the butterfly goes into that state of cocooning. It's transforming, it's taking that trauma, it's working with it, it's making peace with the shadow of it, it's honoring it, it's acknowledging it, that trauma. It's saying, what can I learn from this? Is there something that I need to change? Is there something that can be used as a medicine of sorts to propel me forward? Like, what's the lesson? And during that time in that cocoon, the butterfly is going through all of that. It's honoring it. It's making peace with it. It's acknowledging it. It's learning from it. And then it's saying, I'm going to transmute this and not let it to be trauma anymore, but I'm transforming that into love instead of fear, instead of anger, instead of whatever that symptom is that's not love. And loving ourselves is the biggest part of that. And then we look at how that butterfly then emerges from the cocoon. And even in the brief time of that butterfly life, the specialness that it brings a beauty. It is part of its ecosystem. It goes around and has a little butterfly community. Like it's going out and being itself. It's being what it gave birth to, whatever gave birth in that cocoon for that butterfly. Like, we look at that as, what did you take in that time in the cocoon, and what did it birth in you? And then through that we go out and we're part of actively being that beauty in our community and in our world. And sitting here with the butterfly earlier, watching it on the clover, like the butterfly just goes and nourishes itself. And that's really where that transformation happens within the self. And that's why, full circle back to self-abuse and why I'm taking this time off and actively sharing what this looks like, is we have to find ways to nourish ourselves. We have to learn from ourselves, or from our lessons. We have to go into the cocoon to honor it, to discover it, to figure out what it is. And then from there, we're able to reemerge in a beautiful new self. And quite honestly, guys, we do this all the time. This is a daily, sometimes an hourly thing. Being in the cocoon doesn't mean you have to step into the cocoon and, emerge months later. Some trauma requires us to do that. In this case, I'm taking the amount of time that I could actually take, which was 25 days of a break. But, right now it might look like you need to go into that cocoon for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for an hour, for a week. But do it. Explore the magic of the butterfly. I do not know yet what is on today's menu, but I will be back tomorrow to explain what I have learned about healing ourselves.